I want to ask the following to the Prime Minister and would appreciate her responses. Are there any more than 17 plans of approach as a result of the consultation, collaboration between the local organization and the TWO? So are there more than that? Secondly, are there more than 5 actual reports coming from the same body? If it is 5 or more, what has been done thus far very concretely with these reports? What action has been undertaken on the basis of these reports that have been commissioned by, not commissioned, but have been prepared by the TWO and the local organization? Is it the intention, Mr. Chairman, through you, that the governments continue to report in the fashion that they are reporting? Because again, it is my position that it doesn't really tell us much in terms of whether things have been done or not. Most of the things are so-called in the green zone. Many of the topics are in the green zone because it's a matter of pushing them forward. They will be taken up in the next agenda. These are connected to the points, E this or H that, and that's what the whole report contains. In terms of financing, for example, since we have some reports and plans of approach, what is the financial commitment made, if any, to any of the projects for which a financial projection has been made? And specifically, I want to know, has the Dutch government committed to more than the projects that we know until now, which include, for the largest part, the prison and the tax reform? Mr. Chairman, I would want to await the answers to these questions. As I said, I'm not going to rehash the story about the coming into being of this mutual agreement. And the reason that we're sitting here this afternoon is testimony that there's no real concrete information as to what the TWO and the local organization, what is it yielding? What are the works on the basis of the country package of 2020? What have they actually yielded in terms of work, in terms of actions, and in terms of funding?
Martin, a cooperation between the Netherlands and the government of St. Martin, Mr. Chairman, that coincides with the development direction of our National Development Vision, the National Development Vision of St. Martin, namely financial, economic, social, education, healthcare, and governance reforms. As a matter of fact, to be able to take even more ownership of it, we don't even refer to them as country packages anymore. We talk about our reforms based on our NDV. The regulation is based on equality, ownership, and commonality. It also includes mutual commitment. Through this regulation, Mr. Chairman, St. Martin commits to working on the implementation of reforms, and in return, the Netherlands commits to providing the necessary support to implement the reforms, whether it be on a capacity basis of human resources or finances for third parties or for equipment. This is done by providing, as I mentioned, the implementation capacity and financial resources, and it fits within our sustainable development goals of partnership for the goals. And I think it's very important that we take note of that. The collaboration thus far, Mr. Chairman, has gone quite well. There have been no issues that have arisen that would give pause to government to say that we need to stop the discussions, because that is also part of a mutual regulation. If we cannot agree on what has to be handled, then there's a road to walk for that as well. Good progress has been made in the various measures put forth. And where progress is not seen, there is the understanding of the reasons for such, whereby, or should I say, where how it used to be in the past, especially way in the beginning, things were kind of top-down, and there was no understanding for the real reasons why things could not progress at the pace at which probably proposed by the Dutch government. Because now they are being done simultaneously, jointly, and because they have been on the ground for quite some time, there is a better understanding of the reality of the challenges that are faced. And as a matter of fact, sometimes it is not even on St. Martin's side that the stagnation may occur. So there is also understanding for that. The progress made, noteworthy, is that the progress St. Martin is currently making would not have been made without this collaboration. And in particular, with the structure that is being used for the implementation of the measures. It is broken down, what has to come first, and as a matter of fact, only now some of the plans of approach are being executed. So up until now, there was a lot of work to get to an agreement on what the plan of approach is. And to be able to explain that currently, the SG platform is very much involved, so the Secretary Generals that meet on a weekly basis, and it is supported by the Department of the Interior and Kingdom Relations. Every measure that requires an advice to come to the government of St. Martin, so it requires, let's say, ministerial approval to move on, sometimes is stagnated because it has to be properly presented to the Council of Ministers. A minister may be quite abreast of a measure that relates to their ministry, but when it comes now that you need a Council of Ministers approval to proceed, sometimes a presentation is needed, etc., and it takes time to schedule those. So at all times, there is full transparency, especially as it pertains to any document, any measure that requires a Council of Ministers approval in order to move forward and say, yes, okay, there's a ministerial approval now after the technical have worked out the details, and we can proceed. The progress reports, Mr. Chairman, have thus far been drafted quarterly and based on the quarterly implementation agendas, as had been mentioned by the Member of Parliament. The last report that has been shared is the Q2 report of February 16 to June 30th of 2023. As you were informed, we are now moving towards biannual agendas and reporting, as these reports are very time-consuming for our organization to develop and takes away from the actual execution. So this has been decided by and also agreed upon by all Kingdom partners to have the reports done less, but that does not mean that there is not constant monitoring being done within. So at any time, if there is a question that falls within the quarterly period and the members of Parliament would want to be updated on that, it is their purview to request such an update, especially in a place where there is unclarity, as the Member of Parliament mentioned a few minutes ago.
And the Koiman Men's Night Out, we will have information there as well. So it's fun and interactive. Okay. For breast cancer awareness, the motto is love the tatters. Check them. So we have opportunities where you can get a free clinical breast examinations at some local clinics, and we will post that information, as well as St. Martin Medical Center making those opportunities available on October 28th as well. So stay tuned to our Facebook pages for all the updates, and of course we will keep you informed.
Yes.
Okay. And for those who don't, well, yeah, I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yes.
For those who don't have Facebook.
Well, for those who don't have
Radio.
Facebook, we have radio programs like Now You Know. And of course, when they see us on the street or the different the WhatsApp broadcast, we also share our flyers on WhatsApp so they can get the information there as well. We just want to say These 2 months are heavy months for us, but we do it with love. We do it with passion. We do it with dedication because we love our community and we want our men to man up, check up, and the ladies to love the tatas, check up.
Mealtime rules. Don't serve yourself first. Do not eat with your mouth open. Don't rest your elbows on the table. Don't make noise when eating. Does not apply when enjoying KFC buckets. When we bucket together, we are as we really are.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
SXV, yeah. Your social and health insurances.
During the hurricane season, a potential tropical cyclone can produce rainfall that can cause flash flooding and rockfalls. Stay away from flood-prone areas during heavy rainfall, such as Jump Up Casino on Emma Plain Road in Phillipsburg, ATLH Road Roundabout, L.B. Scott Road from Emilio Wilson Park until Cake House Supermarket, Zaker's Gut from Petro Plus gas station until the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Welchalaken Road K Hill from Welchalaken Road Roundabout until the One Tete Loke Roundabout, Beacon Hill Road from Sunset Bar and Grill until the beginning of White Sands Road, and Rhine Road, also known as Mullet Bay Road, after Sonesto Maho Beach Hotel to the entrance of Cooper Coy from the intersection of the University Drive until the intersection of Rio Grande. For more information on how you can keep yourself and your family safe this hurricane season, visit stmartingolf.org/hurricane. This public service announcement is brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
The inflation, cost of living has increased heavily in St. Martin. There has been no increase in salaries. And also, Minister, pensioners are still receiving, some of them, 300 guilders. For the past 4 years, this government is in office. What exactly was done to alleviate poverty?
As we say, implementation is going forward. I want people to realize with the GHI, it cannot be established unless Parliament approves. But the GHI is currently at the SED. It was sent to the SED and sent to the unions again for their feedback and response. We are now awaiting the SED. So once that information is given back to us, which the SED entails employee organizations, we did send it to the unions that represent civil servants, and we are awaiting that feedback. Once that feedback is given, we will then make adjustments and move forward accordingly. And of course, it is legislation that has to go to Parliament, so amendments can be made and so forth. So I ask everyone not to panic, not to fret. You will have your opportunity, and the opportunity is given for you to give your feedback. As it pertains to managing the funds, yes, it'll be SZV. I remember you sent me a question in writing on the SZV financials, but according to the articles of incorporations, SYB makes does the assessment. The assessment is then sent to the minister. The minister's obligation is solely now to review and send to Parliament. So I have no say whether to, let's say, approve or not. SYB will then come and give a presentation to me as the minister, and then I will send it to Parliament. As it pertains to salaries, As Minister of Labor, of course, you know that there was an increase to the minimum wage. So that was indeed our way of, let's say, helping I don't like I hate the term small man, but helping those minimum wage earners in the vulnerable positions to increase. I do want to say, though, based on the CPI that was obtained, the CPI globally has now leveled off. So whereby we in previous couple of years, we would see an inflation of 3-point-something%. This year, the difference was the CPI for second quarter 2023 was 0.69, and when you do the difference from 2022, it was 0.0 something. So the inflation, what we see now, is starting to level off, which is obvious because of everything that was going on. It was a steep increase, but now it's leveling off. How are we going to combat this? What we are trying to do is establish a living wage, as stated before, and has been screamed to us from the onset. And what we are doing now is assessing the information from the census in order to help us with this. As stated before, when the Prime Minister was combating the 12.5% cuts, she did request the SER to give us an advice on what the livable wage in St. Martin should be, but there was lack of information, lack of updated data. So since then, she passed the ball to me, and I was blessed to be Minister of TIAT at that moment where we pushed forward with the census. So that information will now be taken, sent back to the SER to develop a livable wage for the country of St. Martin. That's number two. And number three, as it pertains to the pensioners, pension is a scheme by where it's determined by the amount of years you have lived in the country and worked in the country. So many persons receive different amount of pensions, rightfully. We do understand that, yes, with the increase, there should be an increase in pension. That's why I'm happy to say that the CPI legislation was passed in Parliament. Way did the AINTEX, sent it to Parliament for review because there was an amendment made. So once Parliament approved that amendment, it'll be sent back to us. We will send it to the Council of Ministers, who will then send it to His Excellency for signing. So what we can expect is by October, November, seniors will see an increase in their pension, with the first month being a lump sum of retroactive payment.
And we all hold government as the one responsible to ensure this improvement. Possibly rightfully so. It's debatable. Government tackles these wants and needs of the people via the funds coming into its coffers. This poses a challenge to government because tax compliance, which makes up for the brunt of government's income, is low and has been low for some time now. What's also debatable is the reason for the low tax compliance. Nevertheless, to improve compliance and address the wants and needs of the people, government has set in motion the plans to transform our current tax administration, which also includes the acquiring of portals and the new tax system. Besides the transformation of the tax administration, government is also looking at adjusting the current fiscal laws and is also in the process of making the necessary fiscal adjustments to register at the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development in order to collaborate on domestic and international policies that will stimulate the economic progress for country St. Martin. Government's efforts in stimulating the economic progress by diversifying the economy beyond traditional tourism, focusing on renewable energy, information technology, and agriculture, present valuable opportunities for future economic growth and sustainability. Government plans to continue to strategically leverage the orange, green, and blue economy. Government, through the Tourist Bureau, is actively seeking ways to diversify the tourist industry. First, via supporting the orange economy by organizing and supporting various cultural events that provide opportunities for local artists to showcase their musical talents and visual arts talent. Second, government is also focused on promoting sport tourism by supporting a variety of events that attract tourists from neighboring Caribbean countries. This not only boosts our tourism receipts, but also increases awareness about our destination as a sports tourism hub. Last, culinary tourism is another area of growth and opportunity for us, with several activities throughout the year that highlight our diverse culinary offerings. Government's efforts have been multifaceted to boost tourism in our region, including a comprehensive marketing strategy, which involves a number of co-op campaigns with airlines and online travel agents. Additionally, government has engaged a number of public relations services in the various regions to market the destination. Collaborating with content creators, government has focused on producing captivating and informative material to highlight the island's unique offerings. Government has plans to commence and finalize the upgrading and reconstruction of the Phillipsburg Marketplace, bus terminal, and beautification of the Phillipsburg area. Government, via the Tourism Bureau, will continue to focus on airlift development and develop a multi-year airlift development plan in collaboration with the airport. The focus will be on existing airlines to increase frequency, as well as new airlines from various regions such as the USA, Canada, and Europe. Government, in collaboration with the airport, are in the final stages of the official immigration entry form for the country, which will improve the country's data collecting tremendously, as well as the ability to market more effectively. Launch is set for the fourth quarter of 2023.
Your social and health insurance is your social and health insurances.
Are you SXV insured? Do you have a valid medical insurance status? SXV is cardless. Request your My SXV account today and enter the virtual office of SXV. Go to sxv.sx and sign up now.
Your social and health insurances.
With you, the new Kentaco. A combination that will surprise the most curious palates. Combining the deliciousness of KFC chicken and the practicality of a taco. With a doubly delicious ergonomic shape. Wow! Compatible with all types of bites. New Kentaco. Enjoy a double breaded chicken breast with our secret recipe. Cheese, lettuce, and tomato. New Kentaco, the innovation that's in everyone's mouth.
It's hurricane season. Are you prepared? Here are a few tips to keep in mind to help keep you and your family safe. The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th, with the peak occurring between mid-August and late October. This hurricane season, be sure to put together a go bag. A disaster supply kit including a flashlight, batteries, cash, first aid and supplies, medications, and copies of your critical information if you need to evacuate. This public service announcement was brought to you by the government of St. Martin.
Another statement made on the floor of Parliament that was quite dismaying was that this government is purposefully deregistering persons in order to influence the elections. That is for sure very libelous, because the Ministry of General Affairs, under which the Civil Registry Department falls, follows the laws. And so I have been weekly coming here to this press briefing and asking persons to ensure that their registrations are up to date. By law, if you have moved from your current address, you must, within a particular time, go to the Civil Registry Department and update your records. So once again, I'd like to invite all eligible voters, but all people of St. Martin, in general, to ensure that your registrations are up to date. Specifically for the eligible voters, in connection with the upcoming parliamentary elections to be held on January 11, 2024, the following. Citizens are invited to visit the Civil Registry Office on Saturday, October 7th and Saturday, October 14th at the government building, Phillipsburg, during the hours of 9 and 12 noon to update your respective profiles. So these discussions were already ongoing to ensure that eligible voters are updated within the civil registry. Why? This is in order to ensure that they receive their voting cards at their physical address. Too many voting cards have been returned in the past years when elections were held, and in an effort to clean up our registry, which is to ensure that we have a correct count of our citizens, as well as ensuring that every voting citizen is properly registered and can receive their cards. That is the process that is taking place at the Civil Registry Department. And I would really like to thank them for the extra hours that they put in to do so. From the Civil Registry Department, you are updated that you as citizens during these 2 Saturdays, which I will repeat, are October 7th and October 14th. Of course, you can always come in during the regular hours as well. You are then able to update your address, update your name and marital status, because if that status has changed, that should also be updated. You can bring in your documents such as birth certificates or marriage and or divorce certificates to prove this. You can always come in to inquire about your voting status. And if a family member has passed away abroad, please provide a death certificate to avoid this person still receiving a voting card. All citizens must present a valid identification document, and if applicable, they can have a utility bill to prove their address or a lease agreement to be able to update their address. To update the profile with breeder documents, please provide these documents along with the legalization and translation if applicable. The management of the Civil Registry Department hope that this opportunity will be used by all concerned voters. And I would like to state that I would hope that with this statement, that politicians will cease to be making use of these insane statements that this government seeks to deter anyone from being able to vote.